like the very end when he pulled out his real gun,
which is
which
one of my
I
favorite
thought
scenes in the
which
movie.
I thought was his
Yeah.
real gun too. And he's like, "You missed one." They're like, "We searched the whole house." And he's like,
Yeah.
"Haha." And
Hey everybody, and welcome to Screen Riot. If you are not a Patreon, I suggest you go and become a Patreon. Go to screenriot.net and you can see all the different ways that you can help support the show. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. We always need more people to to hear us bitch about movies. So what we're doing is we're taking a look at The Game from 1997 this week. It was a drama film and it landed on me, so that was my pick. And I just gotta say, this is up there with one of my favorite movies. I really enjoy the mystery aspect of this. It's even fun to watch after you've seen it a few times, in my opinion. Like I like to talk a lot about rewatchability with movies. This one has rewatchability, even if you know the outcome. To me, so I know that Kyle and John last week, you guys said that you haven't seen this movie, so I was curious what you guys thought
right,
about it.
I was very impressed. I really, really liked it. I think it's one of the better Michael movies that I've seen Michael Douglas in. I think it's one of his best performances I've seen. If he was Jeff Bridges, as Jeff Bridges was offered the role, movie would be crap. I mean,
It's
it
funny
really
you say
would.
that because Jeff Bridges was offered the role of Sean Penn's character.
mm,
Really.
Yeah,
yeah, no,
that would have been no,
Mm.
that wouldn't have worked.
But so was Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
oh,
I don't want to be the
eh,
I want to
this
be the
is
daughter. I don't want to be his sister kind of
this
thing.
is
And they
which that would have been a little weird. Like in the scene where Sean Penn comes up, his brother comes up and has dinner with him. That scene, he's just very bitchy.
Mhm.
Talking about Douglas, he was really just, what do you want? Why are you in town? Like, just, you're a waste of time. I don't think it would have been perceived very well. I mean, the movie already shows him in a bad light, anyways. You kind of he's kind of written to be hated,
yeah,
and
he's kind of an
Right.
asshole at the beginning of the
oh
film.
yeah,
Yeah, because some
how
of
he
the
treats his ex-wife, which I kind of agree. It's like, why are you calling me on my birthday?
well,
F
that's
off,
just him. That's just him in general. If it's not about making money and in his little world, he
Yeah.
feels that everything else is beneath him. Minor inconveniences are beneath him. Um, just he makes you feel uneasy the entire beginning of the film.
Yes, Maria.
Invitations. The museum gala.
No.
The Fitzwilliam Botanical Annual Fundraiser.
No.
The Hinchberger wedding.
Inchberger wedding. Tuxedos, droning conversations. I don't think so, no.
I'll send you regrets. Honestly, why must I bother?
You don't know about society, Maria. You don't have the satisfaction of avoiding it.
Yeah, and Justin, when you picked this, and I looked at the director, it's David Fincher, and I'm like, oh, okay. So my bar for this movie was set very high, just because of the previous movies he's made, Seven and Zodiac, very good mystery movies, and he's done Mindhunter, which is awesome, another kind of like serial killer type
Mhm.
show. House of Cards, he was an executive producer for that, and I'm like, yeah, this movie's got to be pretty damn good, and it definitely checked all the boxes of a David Fincher film. It was awesome. I loved it.
Consumer recreation services. Well, I do have golf clubs.
Call that number.
Why?
They make your life fun.
Fun.
You know what that is? You've seen other people have it. It's an entertainment service.
An escort service?
A profound life experience.
One of the things that I like about this movie is, as a viewer, you know what's going to happen. Like, it's a game. It says it in the freaking
Right.
title, right?
Yeah, I was
You
just waiting
know,
for somebody to come out and go, "Ha ha, game's over, you won."
but what makes it interesting is, okay, when the game starts,
Yeah.
there's a sort of clear line of when it kind of begins.
Yeah, people kept passing out in front of him.
Yeah. You as a viewer, even though you know it's a game, you still get wrapped up in the story and all the stuff that's happening around, and you start questioning, okay, is it a game? Is it a not? Is this really happening? Is this just him being paranoid?
Hmm.
And even up towards the end, like the scene on top of the building is super intense for me. Like the
Oh
tension
yeah.
building that they do there is like really great.
That gun, that's not an automatic.
The fuck are you talking about?
Guard had an automatic. Where'd you get the gun?
This is my gun.
We searched the house.
Well, I guess you missed this, didn't you?
Situation up here, we got a real goddamn gun up.
What are you doing?
Nicholas, it's fake. It's part of your game.
Don't you start
No,
with
no,
me
listen
now!
to me.
Don't you
Listen to me.
fucking
I'm
start
telling you
with
the
me!
truth now. This is all the game.
Bullshit, all right, bullshit. I know what happened to that guy. They shot that guy flying goldfish
What'd you
and then
see?
they killed him.
Think about it. What'd you
I
see?
saw them kill him.
You know, what did you really see this whole time? Special effects, squibs, like in the movies. Nicholas, listen. Get off this channel. We got a real gun with real goddamn bullets. I'm here. Okay, I'll put it down.
That you lose yourself in the story to where you aren't even wondering if it's a game or not anymore. You're just in this
Yeah.
thing with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was many times where I'm like, okay, is this actually is his brother actually telling the truth on this organization's up to no good and they're just out to steal your money? And he's been in this game, quote unquote, for like a long time, and he's trying to get out of it, and there's nothing that can happen to get out of it. It's like once you're in, it's like the mafia. It's once you're in, and if the only way out is death. And like I was thinking, okay, well, is this still a game, or is this a way to take all of his fame and fortune? Like I had
And
a
that's
really hard time figuring out which was the game and which is actually reality.
I did too, because I mean everything, the seriousness of everything that's going on isn't what I call a game, right?
Oh, you mean like
People-
getting shot at?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean getting shot at, people having heart attacks in front of you, getting
I can
dumped in the middle of
understand
nowhere.
yeah, I can understand the heart attack thing. I'm like, okay, well, ooh, I'm having a heart attack.
But I mean,
but
just
I don't-
the grand scope
oh yeah,
of everything. I mean, every single person that he came in contact with
yeah,
was
even the
in on
cops.
it. The cops were in on it.
Yeah.
His lawyer got in on it. I mean, everybody obviously either
His ex-wife was
just
in on it.
wanted to be a part of the game, or realized the way his brother did and say, you know what, you're screwing yourself up. You're making everybody else around you miserable. We're going to pop you out of this, right?
Yeah.
But the magic of this film, to me, is what Justin said. It's it's a game, but you forget it. You forget that
Yeah.
it's a game, and you're like, okay, this guy really is this up to a certain point. It's like, okay, it's a game, it's a game. But then when they started, when he went in the hotel room and they had a bunch of scandalous photos laying around and coke and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, this has gotten serious. This is not cool at all.
You never
and
been on a bender and just walked into a hotel with
well, it was that time in the 80s. No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
been a while.
But,
Well, yeah,
no,
Eddie,
but
you're
it's
five,
just
John.
everything. Wrong side of the tracks, guys. But when he, I could just totally see the reality there of somebody walks in and goes, okay, this is bad. I've got to get rid of all this stuff. I've got to clean up, right? Someone's trying to frame me. And naturally assuming that it's the guy that you just fired and obviously has been with the company for 40 years or
yeah,
whatever.
some amount of years.
You know-
It actually, when I thought at the very end, and I had some time to like think about it, because the ending was just a whirlwind of like just everything happening at once, and you're like, whoa, what? Okay, this, this surprise spoiler alert, this was actually a game, and I was thinking, Eddie, with the time, the thing that you have with time, I kind of thought, okay, so if everybody was in on this, man, they had to be brought up to speed quick, because I don't know if like he left the CRS company, and he went to like some sort of board meeting, and he got a phone call saying that his application was denied, and kind of just to put him off of going, okay, well, we're not going to start the game because your application was, shit, whatever. You didn't
Well,
pass.
but hold on though, you're missing a scene. You're missing like a whole day. Remember, he goes and he plays a squash in the club, and then
Yeah.
he has that drink with all the people, the two other guys.
So
But
it was
but you
just,
notice the phone call that he got, where they said the application was denied. When he
yeah,
first walked into the CRS building, the secretary was talking. She was on the phone, and she says the same lines
yeah.
to another client. So that's how the game is like started. I really like that idea of they throw the person off the trail. They basically make it think that, oh well, okay, well my application got denied. The game isn't. There's nothing going to happen, and
The
then
game is
they
not
get
afoot.
thrown into it. Yeah.
Yes.
Nicholas Van Orton.
Who is this?
This is Cynthia from CRS.
How'd you get this number?
We finished processing your application.
Look, I'm in a meeting right now.
I'm afraid it was rejected.
I beg your
You
pardon?
shouldn't feel this reflects negatively on you. We hope we haven't caused you any inconvenience.
Oh, this is
Thank
ridiculous.
you for thinking of CRS.
Anything wrong?
No, nothing.
Him going through the application process and everything else is already a sham. Like, basically, whenever Sean Penn shows up to tell him that there's a game, he's already in it. His Sean Penn paid for
Technically,
it.
yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, none of those time things are an issue because Michael Douglas is already in the game. The minute that Sean Penn says, "Hey, by the way, I got you something," and he gives him the card or whatever the hell it
I
was.
thought it was like a gift card.
Yeah,
Like,
the
hey,
gift. The
redeem
gift.
this at the desk or something.
He's
Right.
already in the game. He doesn't have a choice to not play the game. So it's literally, to me anyway, it's literally
So you think the game started then?
yeah, 100%.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
See,
100%.
I feel like the application was a way that they tailor what they're going to do to you because it's based off of personality and all that. So they put you in
Yeah.
situations where you have to overcome your psychological, physical
Because
weaknesses.
obviously money was his
Yeah.
stronghold. Like
I
if he
think-
loses all that money, then he's not, successful. He's not him anymore. So
I think it might help. But I think Sean Penn knowing his brother enough or knowing enough details about his brother can kick off the game. And then once
Sure.
he goes and does the application, it just helps to tighten up some loose ends part. But honestly,
maybe.
I think the minute that he gave him the card, he was already in it. The interesting thing to me is the way, back to what John was talking about with the way that it ends. There's some interesting pieces about that. Like one, I know that Fincher had two endings and all that nonsense, but the psychological strain that Michael Douglas goes through in the movie, where you guys are saying like you really kind of, you get lost in it and all that kind of stuff. I think you get lost in it because of the strain that Michael Douglas is under and the way that he portrays that.
Mhm.
You start
Absolutely.
to
Oh
sweat.
yeah.
Every inch that he starts to sweat, you start to sweat.
Oh yeah.
So
It starts getting to the point where you're like, okay, fuck this shit. This is over. I'm done with this. Why
Yeah.
get me out?
yeah. But I think that the big piece with the movie, the overall movie, is that it's meant to. I think it's a theme that is sort of running like not with the idea of loss, but the whole idea seems to be not so much torturing him as much as it is we're going to take everything that you hold dear in a weird way and sort of play with that. Because how do you, like, it goes back to the idea of like, what do you get the guy who has everything, right? What do you get the guy who's super rich, right? Which I think Sean Penn even says as a line
You
in the movie.
steal his money and his house.
Well, you do.
Well,
do
you
the
leave him for
opposite.
dead in Mexico without
Yeah.
any assistance to help you. And
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
But you give him an experience that's the opposite of anything he would ever expect to experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that's a very interesting thought to go about. It's almost like if you were going through a religious crisis and you were like, God, please give me something, and nothing happens, right? And you go 20 years and nothing happens, and then you have the perfect set of kids or something. You just end up going like, oh, wait a minute. So I wasn't expecting that because, well, interesting.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. And it might make you question things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And that kind of that's what kind of sparked off my like just my imagination with this film. And I'm like, wow, it kind of reminds me of Westworld in a way. Of they built this world that you can actually live in, and you can't necessarily get hurt, but there is always a possibility of getting hurt. But it's like it's the illusion of getting hurt, and the illusion of violence and the illusion of danger and fear and everything.
Yeah.
But it's almost a this is happening kind of like in real life. And I also kind of thought like, okay, if there's like gunfire going on in neighborhoods and there's gunfire going on in the downtown streets of LA, I'm like, how how come the real cops aren't actually on you and actually investigating this kind of stuff? Because I know those machine guns are suppressed and you got the movie, silencers, pew, 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 but ultra quiet, machine guns. But you're thinking, okay, if these other people, I mean, obviously the landlord lady was probably in on it,
Oh yeah.
so
Mm.
obviously, with the building being shot up, she would call the real cops, and the real cops would get involved. But I don't know. It was some parts were like, oh, wait, really? Do you think they can get away with this in real life? But
That's
I
probably
don't know.
why CRS is so expensive. They have to pay off all these people.
Mhm.
Or another thing too is they could have like deemed it as a movie set. They could have like shut down all these blocks, but at the same time,
I
how
think
do
that's what's
you?
inferred. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you actually know what your client's going to do? And then that's when, like at the very end, when he pulled out his real gun,
Which is
which
one of my
I
favorite
thought
scenes in the
which
movie.
I thought was his
Yeah.
real gun too, and he's like, "You missed one." And they're like, "We searched the whole house," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Haha." And I was like, "Oh shit, this is actually getting really real." And she's laying it all out, going, "He's got a gun. He's got a real gun. This is the end of the game. Think what you're doing." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I was literally at the edge of my seat at the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
And,
was too.
and then when he fell, I'm thinking, well, that was it. And you mentioned the other ending. Is it was he supposed to actually die, like actually commit suicide
No,
in
the
the
other
alternate
ending,
ending?
the other ending after the party, he just walks away. Like he just basically gets in a car and drives away, and that's it.
He
It's
doesn't get
cra-
in the
Mhm.
cab.
he
Yeah.
doesn't get in the
Oh,
cab and stuff. Yeah, but
okay.
okay. So one thing to say too, though, this movie, which I don't know if you guys picked up on this or not. You probably did, but just to say it, the other cool thing I think about this movie is that Michael Douglas, quote unquote, tries to kill himself at the end of the movie,
Mhm.
but only once he basically is willing to kill himself and be done with the life that he has, because he's feeling guilt or whatever, but because
Yeah.
of the feelings that he has. Until he does that, he's not actually alive in the movie. Sean
Right.
Penn's whole like
Right.
thing was to actually bring him to life,
Yeah. To
right?
make him reborn
Yeah,
again.
so it's a,
Yeah.
so it's a cleansing moment where he, I mean, it's pretty fucking dark to think like that, but
Yeah.
that's basically what he does.
That is
He
pretty interesting. Yeah.
yeah, he
Well,
goes through and offs
they
himself.
took all of his issues
Hmm.
and just one by one made him either face them
Hmm.
or strip them away to where you don't have this comfort anymore. You can't hide your psychological issues about your watching your dad commit suicide
Hmm.
behind all your power because your power is gone. Oh, well,
True.
now I've got my money. No, you don't. You don't have your money. Oh, I've got my
What now?
house. Nope, you don't have your house. You
Yeah.
don't even speak the language of the place you're in.
Yeah.
That's how bad you are. You're in a you wake up in a coffin under in some tunnel
In
somewhere,
the tombs or
right?
something like
So
Yeah.
it's
Jesus.
like he's broken down, and then the party after everything is realized, okay, it was part of the game and this or the other. Everybody at the party builds him back up.
Yes.
Say,
Mhm.
okay, you are back. You are now Nicholas again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
Instead
has a
of Mr.
different
Van
outlook on
Horton.
life at that point
Absolutely.
too. I mean, I know I would.
Oh hell
Um,
yeah.
What did you guys think of the lion lady? I forget her name, but the woman who's the lion
I thought she
looking
was
woman.
good.
You think she was okay?
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
I thought she played the part well.
yeah.
Talking
I
about
mean, you can't.
Christine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she did really well.
Yeah,
I was
because you
looking for
can't.
her
You don't
real
know her
name.
motive like the entire time.
Deborah
Deborah
Kara
Unger.
Unger.
There you go. No, I
Yeah.
agree with you, Justin. I mean, I get that, but I don't know. Her acting is odd to me. It's I think it's a lot of it has to go with her facial expressions and her voice are just odd. They're foreign to me. They don't make sense. Like
Well, I think she played the part well just because she was almost like okay, like an insider to
Mhm.
the game. She
Yeah.
was the one that was telling him, was just like, oh, okay, somebody gave me $300 to spill wine on you as a practical joke, haha. But that was it. And
Yeah.
then later on, when he goes to her apartment, she's like, they're watching us, trying to, because that's after his brother met up with him, and thinking that this CRS organization is a criminal mastermind organization that's out to kill and steal from you.
Yeah.
And she does play that double-sided agent, I guess, pretty well.
Okay.
I did like that a lot.
You were also, but a second ago, by the way, you were saying you didn't understand. You couldn't. They wouldn't be able to necessarily judge exactly what he was doing. Christine was the reason why they could, though. Like
Because
she's
she was
the
tied to the hip, pretty much.
well, not just that. She's the control, basically.
Right.
She's
She
the,
led him in directions, and
yeah.
But
So
but it is interesting, and if he didn't bite, like if he ended up not caring about Christine at all, still, how would they reel him back in?
They would probably just
to it,
reintroduce her to him again, like just to
either
happen to
her
meet
or
again.
Yeah, either her or somebody
or the
else.
brother. I mean, I think that's the way they.
And I think
introduced him
the
back in.
brother scene was pretty much the holy shit, this is probably real thing.
They won't stop, Nick. I paid the bill. I gave them their fucking money. They won't leave me alone.
What are they doing to you?
Everything. I'm a goddamn human pinata.
Calm down. Then why do they keep playing if you already paid?
I don't know. I paid them more to make it stop.
We need to score this, and like I said, this is one of my top favorite movies, so it's obviously going to be like a high score for me. I think it lulls a little bit, so I'm gonna give it an even 9.
So I would say that this movie for me is a 6.8.
Okay, 6.8 for Eddie.
It's pretty high, yeah.
Kyle,
I'm actually gonna give it a 9 as well.
9 for Kyle. John,
I'm gonna give it an 8.7.
So that means that the game from 1997 gets an average score of 8.4. And it is Eddie's turn, final of this season. And you get to pick a horror movie for us to watch. And I know you've been gearing up for this for about 6 seasons now.
So I picked Dead Calm from 1989 with Sam Neill, Nicole Kidman, and Billy Zane.
All right. So join us back next Saturday where we will be reviewing Dead Calm from 1989. See you, everybody.
Later.
See ya.